Are we ready down there? Okay. Clerk, are we ready? Don't forget your microphone as well. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular commission meeting of the City of Delray Beach this Tuesday, June 9th. If the clerk could please call the roll.
Deputy Vice Mayor Markert.
Here.
Commissioner Malika.
Here.
Commissioner Casal.
Here.
Vice Mayor Burns.
Here.
Mayor Carney.
Here. Thank you very much. We have a quorum. If you could all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. Thank you all very much. Agenda approval. Is there anything any agenda any added subtractions? Or?
No, none for me this
No?
evening.
Then I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Comments and inquiries on agenda and non-agenda items from the public and the city manager. City manager's response to inquiries and highlights.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and thank you. I actually have not one, not two, but three brief updates, but they are very positive and productive. So first and foremost, I'd like to offer a brief promotional video, given that one of the items this evening is the consideration to approve the special event Run with the Chief community-wide activity. Saturday, June 27, 2026, we have a brief video we would like to showcase as we are working to advance and promote this opportunity. So if we can, please. Information technology, you should have that information available. I'd like to share that at the beginning of the meeting as a positive gesture.
Hello, I am Delray Beach Police Chief Daryl Hunter. I'd like you to join me and members of the Delray Beach Police Department for our next Run with the Chief on June 27th at 8 a.m. We'll start at Libby Wesley Plaza and take a 1.4-mile run or walk through beautiful downtown Delray Beach. This event is about more than fitness. It's about connection, conversation, and community. You'll have a chance to meet our officers, including some of our newest recruits. I hope to see you there.
There you go. Very nice.
And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I've made a commitment to be a part of the experience.
Oh, boy.
So look forward to that.
Competition.
Not at all. Community, connection, no competition.
Out of town.
Speak for yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Secondly,
I'll be out of town for the record. If people don't see me there, I will not be here that day.
all right.
What day is it again? I'm sorry.
Saturday, June 27, 2026, 8 o'clock in the morning. Registration starts at 7, but I will simply walk and show up.
Availability, if that would help.
My main man, Chief Daryl Hunter, will see to it that all will be well. All right. Secondly, a bit of a presentation. So the City of Delray Beach continues to do what it can to offer education and community outreach relative to illicit discharge. It's a bit of a touchy subject, and a lot has been accomplished to achieve an environment of compliance across the board, and the Department of Neighborhood and Community Services has done good work. Nevertheless, the saga continues, so to speak, because, of course, there are parties in the community who have an interest in seeing us do more to educate the community as to why this is an important endeavor. So I've asked Director of Neighborhood and Community Services, Jerry Pryor, to briefly update the City Commission in response to public interest in this regard in terms of how we educate regarding illicit discharge. Ms. Pryor, if you would.
Sure. Thank you, City Manager, Commission, Mayor. I appreciate the opportunity always to try to do what we can to educate the public on our code of ordinances and what we can and cannot do. So the topic tonight is illicit discharge. It's one of the more serious code violations that we deal with in code enforcement. This is a very brief overview, and understand that what we are doing is a public outreach. This PowerPoint here that we're going to present will also be posted on our webpage. Also, we are working with Gina Carter and her team to finalize a video, a 30-second video on what and what not to do with illicit discharge. So it's going to be the first of a video library that we're going to start posting for public education. So illicit discharge. So it's a simple guide on the do's and don'ts of what illicit discharge is. So basically, let's boil it down. Anything that is not clear water going into the storm drain is illicit discharge. And that's the easiest way that we can remember it. Its harmful impacts on the environment, also in our water quality. So anything that's not clear water is illicit discharge. Do's and don'ts. This is for both property owners of residential as well as commercial. And do ensure your dumpsters are not leaking. This is what we deal with all the time with trash dumpsters leaking garbage juice that's going into the storm drains. Secure construction materials. Those are those where you drive by a construction site and you see the dirt and sediment and everything going into storm drains, illicit discharge. Pick up after pets. Wash your car on grass and at a commercial car wash, and allow rainwater to enter the storm drains. Do not let your car leak oil or other fluids in the storm drains. Don't let your garbage overflow. Don't over-fertilize your lawn. Grease traps, food traps, things that are going into the storm drain, all illicit discharge. So here's just a video graphic of all the things that enter into our storm system. So and thank you, I want to especially thank Missy and her team to allow us to present, because they're the ones that actually educated the code enforcement department on what it is that we're looking for. When people call in and say, you know, there's illicit discharge, my neighbor's putting chlorine water in the storm drain. Chlorine water is illicit discharge because it's got chlorine and it is not clear. So this is just a real quick graphic of the types of things that enter into our storm system, and it goes into our waterways. So the impacts. It's harm to aquatic life, water quality, and it threatens our health and environment. So we put a picture of a manatee because we actually had a case this last year where we had video of manatees drinking illicit discharge coming out of our storm drain. And so when you look at it on the environmental impact, the only harm to manatees is humans, right? And so I wanted to make sure that this is very clear, that this is all of us trying to make sure our environment is safe. So how do we as code enforcement handle illicit discharge? It's through a special magistrate process. It's an irreversible, irreparable fine or notice of violation, because it's something we can't take back. You can't fix it. It's already done. It's already gone down the drain. And so the magistrate has the authority to fine up to $15,000 per violation. And that's for residential and commercial properties. Depending on the severity, the size, different circumstances will depend on what the magistrate imposes on a fine. Here is what the Code of Ordinances outlines, is what is illicit discharge. And there's a Scan Me, so people can scan that QR code. It'll take you straight to the Code of Ordinance. And then here's how you contact us. I've added Code Enforcement Division, Public Works, the app, the online, to where you can file complaints, concerns, and we will get those and we will address them as quick as we can. So in a very quick nutshell, that's illicit discharge, and these are the things that code enforcement goes out when people notify us or we witness it ourselves. And then we automatically, it's a public health and safety, so it automatically gets scheduled for the next available special magistrate hearing, because it is a public health and safety. So that's what I have for you.
Thank you, Ms. Pryor. So again, given the severity and the importance of compliance in this regard, the information having just been shared will continue to foster a community-wide education program so that everybody, including our external partners, are squared away in terms of our efforts to inform the community and keep everybody squared away. So thank you, Ms. Pryor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
One other item, finally. Back in 2023, the City of Delray Beach, in collaboration with the Palm Beach County Sports Commission, hosted the Billie Jean King Cup. And we've been approached, the City of Delray Beach, the Office of the City Manager, the Department of Parks and Recreation, notably, been approached again by the Palm Beach County Sports Commission regarding the prospect of once again hosting this event later this year in 2026. Of course, it's a similar dynamic in terms of $75,000 financial contribution on part of each organization in terms of cash, as well as in-kind contributions for public safety presence, as well as the facility being the Delray Beach Tennis Center. So as the proposal process is assembled, we anticipate coming back before the commission formally regarding the respective consideration. The financial aspect is a function of the current fiscal year in terms of the bid to be submitted in collaboration with the Palm Beach County Sports Commission. Given the recent communications regarding this possibility, I thought it'd be a good idea to share with the commission at the beginning of the meeting that this prospect is imminent. So with that, I trust that there will be some interest and support to continue to collaborate with the Palm Beach County Sports Commission because, of course, this is an exciting opportunity to represent the city of Delray Beach, as noted.
Anybody wish to weigh in on it?
Do you need a
Commissioner?
consensus now, just so we can, if you don't have a consensus, you don't need to move forward, but I certainly give my consensus. This event is fabulous, and the residents very much appreciate it. I'm excited.
I went to it, they had it before, I thought it was a great event.
Very
Brought a
well.
lot of people, brought a lot of people into town, got us good visibility.
Strong event.
Very well. All right, so given the expression of interest, and I will take that as formal consensus, the city of Delray Beach will be empowered to collaborate with the Palm Beach County Sports Commission, and hopefully will be successful yet again. So thank you.
Very
Mr.
excited.
Mayor, I yield at this time.
Thank you very much. We reached the portion of the meeting where, for public comment, if there are any members of the public wishing to speak on an agenda or a non-agenda item, please come to the lectern. You will each have 3 minutes. If you're here to speak for one of the quasi-judicial or the public hearing items, you'll have to wait until those items are called. So please, your name and zip code for the record.
Sure, Steve English, 33344. And I come to you full of gratitude tonight versus my amplified nature the last time I was here to talk on the subject about the opioid settlement monies. Seeing the process of government work in this past 2 weeks has been exhilarating and very gratifying to work with the city manager's office, Jeff Oros, the chief of fire, to get more clarity around what the proposals are that will be before you tonight on item, I believe, 7D. And I think we've really refined those numbers to make them much more crisp, much more palatable, to understand the impact that this can have and the immediate and measurable impact that putting these dollars into the paramedicine program, coupled with monies being allocated for housing and job reintegration, will be a tremendous beacon of hope for people who are suffering with recovery, and also getting the clarity of the fact that the Karen funds that are out there that are close to $1 million are already set aside for educational purposes. As I've mentioned to several people, LSIS and any prevention type of programming is near and dear to my heart. It was founded by my mentor and sponsor, Tony Allerton, which many of you in this commission know. This community owes a lot to Tony and to the recovery community. And seeing that organization prosper and be utilized for funds through the Karen monies, I would be wholeheartedly on board with, as well as several of the other prevention initiatives. But also what you heard from a lot of the people who spoke on this topic is the monies used in the opioid settlement money are considered prevention by the people who are in recovery also, because we're preventing deaths that are immediate and have the opportunity to intervene on people who are in crisis. So these two FTEs that are proposed for the fire department will have an immediate opportunity to get in front of people and have them placed into the appropriate resource in the community. There's a lot of nonprofits that are out there who are ready to assist. So anticipating a discharge planner at a hospital to manage this process does not match anything that is based in reality. It needs to have boots on the grounds that are going to be with these people for an extended period of time. And what I've found that I notice even in my own clarity is a lot of distinction between the role that Ariana and the city outreach is doing in the police department is wonderful and has an immediate, measurable impact on our community for the last decade. This money would be going to a whole different catchment basin of people who have never been involved with the police department, will never be involved with the police department, hopefully. They're only being dealt with in the fire rescue component of our services. So the fact that we're not getting paid on runs after the first one in a month, we're going to have measurable, immediate returns of dollars that will justify these funds, because I know some of the questions that we've been having is, if we fund this year, what's going to happen next year? I think the chief has committed to giving 90-day updates to reflect what the cost savings are that will justify future budget allocations for these funds. So, as you can tell, I'm full of gratitude today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the gratitude.
I'll be a beacon.
Hello, Patty Jones, 33483. I have sent an email to you this afternoon about special event invoices. I wanted to let you know to date, Old School Square Center for the Arts has not received any direct communication from the City of Delray Beach concerning these alleged past due amounts. Since February 2022, I have been responsible for collecting the organization's email and mail, and myself nor any of the treasurers have received notices of these balances. We first became aware of these balances when it was brought to our attention by a third party, who informed us that it had been discussed publicly. We respectfully submit that our concerns involving nonprofit organizations should be communicated directly to us before being addressed in the public forum so that questions can be answered and reviewed and resolved correctly and fairly. And to that note, many of you know me, city manager, assistant city manager, and several employees know how to reach me, so that's not an excuse. So when I reviewed this list, and I'm not going to go through all of it, the city attorney, city manager, and finance has it in their email. I went through it just briefly, and out of the amount of $31,405, $15,500 appeared to be paid. I have canceled checks. And there's many questions I have. I wrote it down line by line. And just so you know, I mean, anything that you can provide me with the supporting a documentation that I asked for, I will review and respond.
Could I ask a question?
Thank you very much.
Did you email the commission or just the city?
No, I emailed the people who are responsible, accounting, city manager, assistant
Could
city
you
manager.
forward that email to us as well so we can see it? Because I brought that up in public as we got a spreadsheet claiming there was over 31,000 of outstanding.
And if I'm that way, how many other were paid?
Good question. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You will share that email with the commission. Thank you.
Hi, Stefan Janulis, 33483. Terrified of public speaking. Hopefully I don't pass out. I've been a 22-year resident, and I've just noticed some changes that are sort of aesthetic. I've lived within 3 blocks of Atlantic and Federal Highway the entire time. I walk my dog downtown, I scooter around downtown, and I've just noticed some stuff. Like walking into City Hall right now, the sidewalk is dirty. There are weeds in the flower beds. That's just from today. And I've talked to a couple of people about certain other things. Let's go from here towards the beach. Between 1st Street and 2nd Street on Atlantic Avenue, there are 19 signs. 19 individual signs. When I moved here, there were probably 2. The parking signs are now 4 deep.
Sir, can you speak in a microphone,
Oh, sorry.
please?
I'm talking to the public, sorry. The parking signs are, I'm sorry, I'm really nervous, are not inconsistent on different poles. They're facing different ways. They're different ones on different poles. And, our visitors get confused. Like when I went up to Palm Beach the other day, I got out, there was one sign, told me exactly what to do. It's just one of my little concerns. Plus the 19 different signs. One of my other concerns is the beach. I go to the beach every day pretty much, walk down the handicap path, which they started to maintain again. I talked to the guy, he sort of maintains it. I slipped and fell on the metal piece because of the angle of it. And I've tried to address that with parks. They've gotten better at it. And the trash cans. There's 3 trash cans with lids that do not fit. One of them is broken, 2 of them are gross, and during season, the trash is piled up in front of it. So talk about illicit discharge. There's stuff leaking under our beach. It's a simple little fix. Trash cans can't be that expensive. Our $19 million beach, our $500,000, $800,000 redo of the thing. And that's basically it. There's just little tiny fixes, like the city bypass sign when you're going westbound is so sandblasted you can't read it. They're just those little improvements. I'm micro-focused on that area, and the other politics and stuff I don't really get into. So that's just my thing, especially out front. Pressure wash the front sidewalk. Fix some weeds. What do we spend our money on? Put some trash cans on the beach. And simple little stuff like that. And maybe fix the parking signs so people, when they get out of their car, Like if you get out in front of Starbucks, you look, well, the sign is facing the railroad tracks at the meter. It's just basic stuff like that. It's been brought up on Facebook, etc. Just little improvements. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
I didn't pass out.
You can breathe. You did good. Good evening, Ann Stacey Wright, 33444. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I am coming before you today with concerns about what is happening at the Delray Beach Cemetery. It is not just about running out of space, and we would like to know what the city is doing about acquiring land for burials. We know that you're building mausoleums, but most of us can't afford $8,000. What most are asking is who is responsible for the operation and the upkeep of the cemetery. Citizens have gone to acquire plots and was told that person works from home. It's been 5 years since COVID, and with such position, why are you told to call a phone number? I assume this is a city-issued cell phone only to receive a message, mailbox is full. For some who have spoken with this person, they said this person has a very nasty attitude and is not helpful or understanding. How many more positions in the city that employees are working from home that are full-time? There was a time when Delray Cemetery received many awards for upkeep and maintenance. 2 weeks ago, I went to the cemetery and was very upset at the condition of the headstones of my family members. Grass had grown to cover most of the headstones. My brother's headstone came with a vase, and it was damaged and thrown on the headstone. With removal of trees and roads to add additional space, a lot of people cannot find their loved ones. When you inquire, you are told to go to the city website and you can get that information. If that's the way this is operated, why do we need a full-time position working from home? The young man Travis is great and has helped quite a few people, so maybe he needs the position. Give the maintenance back to the award-winning Parks Department who cares about our loved ones. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I guess it's a praise the Lord moment. Praise the Lord. Commissioners, Mayor, good afternoon. My name is Cynthia Ridley. I live at 210 Northwest 2nd Avenue, Delray Beach. Two things. One, the good stuff first. Thank you, Park and Recreation, for Saturday. What a great event that brought all the classes and school together. I had a great time. It was hot. So whoever did it, great organizing, great putting it together. So Atlantic won out of Boca High because that's where I attended 50 years ago, but kudos to those who did that. Very good on the staff. So second of all, I'm going to kind of kudos Steve over here that I lived in a community where, and my husband also did drugs. So, and families were really hurt with this, with drugs in 20 years ago. And now we're trying to give money to someone who's saying they're doing prevention. I don't know who it is. But I do know that there was a lot of hurt back in the day where families, babies were born that they were saying they was crack babies. We were a time where people in our community was put in jail who provided for our families. So if some of this money can go back into the community which it was hurt by, please do that, commissioners. You never lived in an environment where you can see it. I did. I saw families hurt. I saw babies hurt. So can you imagine we giving money to prevention and we not helping the people that was really helped and needed in this community? This has changed now, but it's still here, and families are still here, still hurting and looking for help in this community. So when you pray tonight, think about the families that we can help in this community. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.
Thank you very much.
Montre Bennett, 33444. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Yesterday, it was a 6.4 magnitude earthquake in Cuba. And on the emergency email that I received, it said no tsunami threat is forecast in South Florida due to the magnitude of the earthquake. In my mind, they telling us a tsunami is coming to South Florida. And what I've been reading, or what I've been getting from the emails since January, are test runs for tsunamis on the east coast of this country. So all I'm saying is, I brought this up maybe 4 or 5 years ago about tsunamis, and it's apparent that it can happen over here. So just be ready and aware. When it comes to tsunamis, we can't. Some of us probably can't swim in it. I don't know. When it comes to this construction of Pompey Park pool, I ask that this pool that is open remain open until y'all decide to do a new pool at Pompey Park. People still need to learn how to swim, and that this other pool, I don't think it's plausible for people to learn how to swim in it. And you put enough money already into this pool, so keep it open a little while longer so people can continue to learn how to swim and bring revenue into the park. Northwest 3rd Avenue and 3rd Street, the light been out for probably a month now. I know y'all got this app, but I got enough apps on my phone. Can y'all please fix that? It's real dark over there. Oh, and my class is the first class to graduate out of the new Atlanta High. We celebrating 20 years, class 2006. And in my brains, we the real Atlanta High because we on Atlanta Avenue. So I'm asking if y'all do something special for the class 2006 Atlanta High. Thank you.
Not happening. Hello, Mayor Commissioner Yvonne Odom, 33445. I'm here to speak on Pompey Park. Of course, I've been, in the trenches for a long time, but my concern is about the concession stand, and it's just not a concession stand. We have 2 offices, a storage. We have a place to put our golf cart. We have meeting rooms upstairs, our batting cages, plus 2 tire stations for the kids to practice, our sound system, even though it hasn't worked in a while, scoreboards. This is my concern because I looked at Miller Park. They tore down Miller Park concession stand, and God knows how long it took to put it back together. And it was not the same as it was before because there was no meeting room there. They made it a 1-story. Maybe that had to do with whatever. But it did not turn out to be better. For somebody who hosted big league games there, we were able to use the system. We played upstairs. We had meetings and everything. So as we go through this, because I knew very well that the concession stand was not part of the new renovation, but the people have agreed to demolish it. But I'm asking that you work with the people who are out there. Maybe you can go out there and tour and see what we can do. But what I don't want to happen is to tear it down, then we have nothing to place, or it's 5 years down the road. I might be gone on the glory. But we need for our children. We have from T-ball age 4 past adulthood. When I say past, my husband still try to play out there because they have a league and I made him know you can't do this. The other thing I wanted to mention is South Florida Baseball League, which we were very proud to get them here. They started out with 6 college teams. Now they're 14. You all are invited to come out there. They have a full schedule. We have college kids from all over. I'm proud to say that my grandson is one of them, playing for the Delray Lightning. But my concern is the parking. We got the new fire station, but y'all still got all the stuff there, so the parking is very limited. So when parents come from all over the country, these kids are from all over the colleges, and it's very hard now with the parking. So I don't know what the goal is when you're going to relocate the station, and maybe that's not in the budget, but I just say it as a concern for visitors who come out there and visit
Little Fenway. It is famous. It's been there for a very long time, and I'm hoping in the future that we'll have many more visitors who come here and play baseball. Baseball is our thing, and luckily for us, we're able to see my grandson play for the Delray Lightning. So thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much.
Good evening. 33444. My name is Holly Stewart. I'm Executive Director of the Recovery Community Hub. We are just down the street. We are an organization that is led by members of the community to provide a community center for people in recovery. I'm here to speak on the opioid settlement dollars. I am strongly in favor of the Mobile Integrated Health Unit. That plan was developed with information from the community, both the Delray Beach Drug Task Force, but also community members in recovery, and have actually been asked by those people to be here today to speak on their behalf. We do recognize that there is split funding, but the amount of funding allocated will pay for those two positions, and this would be life-saving for the individuals we serve. Please know that when fire rescue responds, they respond to the entire population. This includes children who may have accidentally consumed mom's medication, all the way up through an elderly person whose pharmacist did not track that they were given two different medications that interacted with each other, including prescribed pain medications. Remember, the Opiate Settlement Fund really was rooted in misuse and abuse that came out of our medical center. So when we think about this, we're not really talking about the same population that's being served by our police. This also includes individuals who are having medical emergencies. And our goal with this project is really to stop that medical emergency discharge without actually addressing the cause, which then results in another medical emergency, another discharge, or potentially a death in that cycle. Life Skills in Schools is a fabulous program. I love them. My husband works closely with them. They were just approved for $300,000 in county opiate settlement dollars, so I'm a little concerned that we're duplicating funds already made available, not just by the Caron Foundation, but also by the county's OSF funds. And that just came down. They were approved at the same time I got my contract for something entirely different. So I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. They are a fabulous program, but there's already funding set aside for that, where there really is no funding for this fire rescue intervention. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. My name is Lissa Franklin. I'm a resident of Delray Beach, 33444, and I'm here as the Executive Director of the Delray Beach Drug Task Force. I hope that after reviewing the materials provided, the Commission was able to review and appreciate the comprehensive overview that the Delray Beach Drug Task Force put together for the OSAC Committee. That process was not narrow, rushed, or limited to one viewpoint. We convened our members and non-members because we believe that teamwork does make the dream work. As a collective group, we identify gaps, prioritize those gaps, and work to identify practical solutions. Through that comprehensive process, the plan that you were provided was compiled, and the community paramedicine program was identified as a top priority and the best use of OSF funds with the broadest community impact. Again, I want to reiterate something very clearly. We are not opposed to school-based prevention. The Delray Beach Drug Task Force is the largest standing prevention organization serving Delray Beach, again founded by Tony Allerton, and prevention is central to our work. We fully recognize its value. What we're opposed to is using the limited opioid settlement funds to fund services that are already adequately funded. School-based prevention already has access to the nearly $1 million in Caron settlement funds. These are separate resources specifically available for that purpose. It's difficult to justify giving school-based prevention both funds when these opioid settlement dollars are finite, especially when school-based prevention only serves one segment of the community. At the height of the opioid epidemic, Medicare recipients represented one of the largest populations dying from overdose. That fact alone should guide our decision-making. I lost a lot of friends, so this next part's hard. Opioid settlement funds are restitution for the citizens of Delray Beach who have lost their lives to the negligence, fraud, and abuse of the opioid manufacturers and their affiliates. These funds should be allocated in a way that reaches the entire community, most importantly, those who are currently still alive but struggling to stay alive and are the victims of these horrible practices. I respectfully urge this commission to allocate these finite restitution dollars toward a solution that impacts the entire community, and that starts with funding the Community Paramedicine Program, a program that can serve Delray Beach residents across age, income, housing status, and point of crisis. These funds should be used where the gaps are the greatest, where funding does not already exist, and where the impact will reach the full community. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, and City staff. My name is Dr. Ashley Ridley, and I serve as the Director of Prevention, Outreach, and Community Relations for the Drug Abuse Foundation of Palm Beach County. We are located here at 400 South Swinton Avenue, 33444. The Drug Abuse Foundation has been a trusted partner to the City of Delray Beach for nearly 60 years because prevention, treatment, and recovery are essential to building a healthier and safer community. Each person in this room either knows someone, loves someone, works with someone, or serves someone whose life has been impacted by addiction, mental illness, homelessness, or trauma. These challenges affect our families, our neighborhoods, our businesses, our schools, and our public safety systems. The good news is that recovery is possible, and community that invests in prevention and early interventions saves lives. For nearly 6 decades, DAF has served as a safety net for Palm Beach County, which began as a prevention agency focused on supporting youth and family and has evolved into a comprehensive system of care. Today, our Delray Beach campus provides a 24-hour emergency receiving center, medical detoxification, residential treatment, outpatient services, housing support, employment assistance, and recovery support services. Our 122-bed facility serves some of our community's most vulnerable residents, including individuals experiencing homelessness, people returning from incarceration, pregnant and postpartum women, and families searching for help for their loved ones. Every day, people arrive at our doors seeking help, healing, and a second chance. The reality is that addiction is not simply a treatment issue, it's a community issue. When people have access to prevention services, early intervention, treatment, stable housing, employment support, and recovery resources, communities become stronger, healthier, and safer. DAF treatment completion rate is approximately 68% compared to an average state rate of 40%. Please support the community's plan for this recovery money, please, and thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, commissioners, mayor, city manager. I actually agree with them. This was never, Dr. Spencer, 33445, this was never a case of, there are no losers in this. This isn't about the money, right? This is about what that money is supposed to do. And since you all have already described that there are 2 different funds of money, you know, if the opioid settlement funds go to prevention in terms of recovery, that type of prevention, there's no reason not to do that. But there is a reason to use the Karen funds for prevention education. I also want to bring to the commission's thing that, you know, a lot of what the Drug Task Force talks about and what they hang their hat on was founded under my leadership of the Drug Task Force all those years ago. I was the one who played a role with Chief Goldman in hiring Ariana, who we all love and the great work that she's done so dearly. I was the one who created Sud Talks, a national call to action around the opioid crisis. Project Trailblazer, which you saw in the Delray Beach Drug Task Force recommendations, that was founded under my leadership of the Delray Beach Drug Task Force. Something that they never acknowledge or talk about. I have always been about this community, and I continue to be that. I think the opioid settlement funds should go to the work of, if you decide to put it towards paramedicine, and we'll be happy to apply for the Karen funds. I do want to clarify what Ms. Hawley said. We did get $100,000 the first time from the county for the opioid settlement funds, which goes towards 45 resilience boxes, 45 boxes for families. That's hardly supplying what community work can be done. So please don't let that be misrepresented. My work for Delray, the work of Living Seals in the schools, will always be comprehensive for the community, as I have always served this community. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Lisa McWhorter, and I'm a person in long-term recovery of 19 years. I am here in that capacity, but I do
Ma'am,
need to...
your zip code, please.
33483.
Thank you.
I do need to clarify, I am on the opioid settlement committee. I am also the CEO of Wayside House. You may know us. We've been around 52 years. We treat women with substance use disorders off of 6th and 4th Avenue. Again, we've been there 52 years. I also want to say that, I've been a police officer, I've been an EMT, so I've kind of been on all around recovery before and after my issues with drugs and alcohol. I guess I want to ditto what people are saying about the paramedicine program. It's very important. I've seen it both as an EMT, but also what it's done for our clients at Wayside House, but also what it's done for my friends. And I've watched many friends die of this disease. I was a lucky one that I made the choice a little different, but a lot of people out there did not make the same choice. And there were many of my friends that I've seen die in the last 13 years. And we've done a lot in these last 13 years, people. We have done a lot, okay? I remember where we were 13 years ago, and we certainly are in a different place now, and we're seeing the drug overdoses decline, but this paramedicine program is very important. I kind of just wanted to piggyback on what was said last month. I wanted to clarify a couple of things. The paramedicine program is, even though the ambulances and the fire department goes out and sees a family, the paramedicine program would only be following up on the citizens of Delray Beach. And so it wouldn't be, there's no way a person could do every call. So it really would be centering on the people that were citizens of Delray Beach. And I wanted that to be said. And also, look, when we look for money, I work for a nonprofit. And so, Suzanne will know this, we fight for every dime we have. And we may get it this year and we may not get it next year. Same thing for you. If you decide to do this paramedicine program, you decide we want to do it this year and let's look for money to help it sustain itself. Nonprofits have to do the exact same thing. And if we don't get the money, guess what happens? We have to close the program and we have to do something else. But we try not to do that. So what I'm saying to you is we have to take risks. And if you think that the paramedicine program is something that you feel strongly about, which I do think you do, I think you feel strongly about it, but the price tag wasn't very comforting. But I think that price tag has gone down, and I think they can do this on a budget that we can get it started and then be able to look at other funding sources. And you got to have a program so you can get out there and push for the money. So thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. Alexius Burns, 33445. There's a system put in place, and the system says that you vote for your champion to help out with any issues or any wants and needs that your community wants and needs and deserves. So we choose a champion for that. We've chosen a champion for that, and the champion not only hosts several community meetings, meeting with over 5,000 community citizens on a consistent basis, knows the community, lived in the community, worked in the community, still is being questioned. When we have champions that don't come out to the community ever, that don't ever sit down with community because we're having these meetings, always seem to want to dictate and or determine what the community needs. After all, we do have a champion that we've chosen that meets on a consistent basis with over 5,000 citizens. Not only that, she was able to provide 140 signatures from the community to state this is what we want. And yet and still we have to come up here time and time again to say the same old things over and over and over again. Shame on you all. I'm saying that we have a champion. She comes out, she works in the community, she delivers time and time again on education to the community, to update the community on what's going on. So we're not just making decisions based off of ignorance, right? And time again, we have to keep coming up here saying, hey, this is what we want. I'm saying that if a champion like that is questioned, then I'm questioning everything, questioning the whole system. So please, I'm going to say this again, please, let's take our champion seriously. If the champion's saying this is what the people want, let's give it the people what they want. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Lucica Suarez, zip code 33444. I just want to, in this discussion of budgetary things, I actually asked for a meeting, well, emailed, not you because you're fairly new, Commissioner Malika, but with the exception of Mrs. Burns, I emailed you guys to meet about adding education as a line item budget dedicated to our students here in Delray Beach. And I still haven't gotten a response. And I would like to sit down with, I'm so sorry, here you go. I would like to sit down and actually discuss those line item budgets and ways that we can fund to make sure our kids in Delray Beach get what they need, especially if we're going to be competing with places like Boca, Royal Palm, and Wellington, who very clearly and very publicly have dedicated line item budgets specifically to provide grants for each and every school. So I just want to put that on record. That is, again, I emailed you guys, didn't get anything back, with the exception of Commissioner Burns. No one else has responded. So that's the first thing. And the second, I'm sorry?
Do you mind resending, because the mayor just said he hasn't seen it?
I'm not sure I ever saw it.
Sometimes
So
mail filters through.
email us again, because I generally,
but
I may
just
not be
throw
able to
that
help,
in.
but I generally write back. So,
Okay.
I mean,
I'll try third time.
all right.
Hopefully third time's a charm. And I just want to remind you guys to, the community was very clear about what they want. So I would very much encourage, especially if these are the people that you're representing, to encourage to listen to the community, especially if we're saying, hey, this is what we would like. Okay, and I am done.
Look forward to your email. Thank you.
Okay.
No one seeing anyone else for public comment? Public comment is closed. All right, we go on now to the consent agenda. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're great. Okay. Now, the regular agenda, item 7A, would you, City Attorney, please read the resolution into the record.
Resolution number 9426, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Delray Beach, Florida, amending its budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2025, by providing for supplemental appropriations in the amounts identified in Exhibit A, repealing all resolutions inconsistent herewith, providing an effective date, and for other purposes.
Thank you very much. Mr. Dokowitz.
Thank you, Commission, again. We have an item on budget amendments. This budget amendment. This budget amendment is requesting a $279,912.50 expense transfer from overtime operating supplies and building rentals and leases to operating equipment and salaries, wages to fund the purchase of critical equipment, retroactive grievance resolution, and a part-time paid information technology intern. The total amount is $272,912.50. Okay, it's totally funded in the general fund, just items going from certain line items to other line items. And
Okay.
I believe that's the only item for today.
So it's neutral to the general fund.
It's neutral to the fund. It's all within the fire department, and they're moving $272,000 from operating supplies, general operating supplies, building rental and leases, overtime, and FICA, and they're moving it into primarily capital equipment and some regular full-time salaries, part-time salaries, and FICA.
Great, thank you very much. Any questions from the commission? Then I need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve resolution number 94-26.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Fine, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We now have the follow-up considerations regarding the Tree Trust Fund and the Community Tree Planting Program. Christian, I see you coming, so.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome. All right. This is just really to respond to the request from May 19th commission meeting about a more complete revenue history and expense history of the tree planting program
Mr.
and the Tree
Chittister,
Trust Fund.
lean into the microphone, please.
Got it.
Thank you.
All right, so since 2004, we have had approximately $1.38 million in deposits. The only real significant years are all listed right there, 19 through 22. There's a big fall off of 3, 4, and 5, and we're doing pretty well this year. This is kind of the year over year. All those years weren't exactly zero, but they were, $12, $4. Since I'm not sure what that came from. I think they were just interest payments. All in all, we've spent approximately $1.22 million, which brings our current revenue or our current balance to $199,094.40. So this shouldn't be looked at simply as an expense to the city. That $1.2 million we've spent has created quite a bit of community value. By 2050, we're projecting up to $64 million in cumulative community value spread across stormwater, heat reduction, energy savings, air quality, public health, and tax-based support. Really, that means that trees improve property values. The key points here is that while the Tree Trust Fund has supported the tree planting program, it has never really been an ability to sole fund the whole program. So average program costs about $333,000 per year. That's for about 2,000 trees. Those create approximately $800,000 to $1.2 million per year once they're established. So for every dollar invested, we're returning $2.50 to $3.80 on that dollar. So that said, we are looking for some recommendations as to how we can move forward with a new tree planting program, whether that be a new solicitation, some grants, some community partners. We're open to working with all of it, but I think we'd really like to do something to try to keep this program going. That's what
Great.
I got.
Thank you very much. To the commission, any questions? Commissioner Casal.
Yeah. So I think we all want to keep the program going, but I kind of found it shocking to even see this on the agenda when we're looking at a slide in our budget segment that says we are potentially at the highest level a $20 million deficit. You called it needed efficiencies, or $5 million. So here we are in this situation talking about, are we moving forward with the tree program? But before we do, I think we need a more accurate assessment of the numbers, because I had written to you last week, 5/22, you sent me a spreadsheet. The numbers in this spreadsheet that I have over the 5 years, the total revenue is $835,709, with the total expenses at $1,060,536.26. But I just quickly was adding up here. The numbers don't calculate the same. Here, your revenue for 2020 to current is 102,984, which is substantially different than 835,000.
Sounds like you're looking at an older one.
Mr. Moore just had it produced for me 2 weeks ago.
If I may?
Yes, please do.
Sure, that was the preliminary response. We were still scrubbing the numbers, thoroughly reviewing and calculating, working both closely with Chris's office along with the Department of Finance. And the compelling factor was the deposit information from the year 2020. So once we got that information together, we were able to thoroughly review and calculate the figures, and that's the basis of this evening's presentation and update.
The one with the current with the revenue of 1,029, or you have it 1,384, and the 1.1 million in expenses. What is the most current, and that's accurate, you're saying?
The most current is the presentation this evening. Yes.
Okay, and what is the 92,000.9 encumbered? $92,924.27.
That was just the 3 unpaid invoices for this year's program, which have now since been paid.
Got it.
There was an attached spreadsheet, an updated one that included, we had only originally gone back to 25 years for your original request, but when I added the numbers up and they didn't match, we went back to as the beginning of the entire account to 2004, and then they all matched up well
Okay.
after that.
Thank you. That makes good sense. I think you should probably reach out to us individually, and we should talk about the tree program. This is my opinion, once we sort of figure out our budget. Because if we are talking about we need $500,000 to retain our paving program, or we need $300,000 for tree planting, while I am such a proponent of tree planting, we're going to have to go with the paving program because of the long-term savings for just upkeep and maintenance of the roads. So in the present moment, I 100% support this, but I'm not going to give a consensus until I have a better sense of our budget.
And the better sense of the budget, as we talked about during the workshop portion of today's meeting, of course, will be achieved via the July 14th meeting, and we've empowered everyone, each of you individually, to spend time with myself and Redacquist so that we can take those perspectives under consideration. And quite frankly, part of the tree planting program does take under consideration any external partnership opportunities. It may not necessarily translate to the specific financial commitments you've outlined in your commentary. So there are different avenues and interests to ascertain, and quite frankly, the purpose this evening is to clarify and provide a thorough update regarding the financial history. And as Mr. Cheddarser stated, we went all the way back to 2004. We were able to take under consideration the deposits from 2020. That enabled us to come up with an accurate picture in terms of the aggregate balance of the Tree Trust Fund. We've communicated a couple of different numbers in that regard, but our interest was to be as thorough as possible, and that's what's here this evening, number one. Number two, the opportunity to engage in any open consideration processes to get to that place, and that's appropriate because, as mentioned during the May 19th City Commission meeting, the relationship with community greening is actually sunsetted. So if there is any interest to engage in any external selection process, engagements, etc., that would necessitate a formal selection process. So nevertheless, I do support the observation you've shared as we engage the upcoming proposed budget process, which is to be finalized on a balanced basis beginning in July. You'll have an opportunity to be at a place in which you can offer additional guidance.
And when does our contract with them conclude officially?
June 30th.
Okay.
About 6 days.
6 days from today, so that would actually conclude Monday, June 15, 2026.
Okay, the 30th, okay.
So I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Wish me recognized?
I'm
Go ahead.
sorry.
Yes.
I would be interested in pursuing partnerships and grants. Who would spearhead that? Would you? Okay. It's one way to pay for it.
Anyone
Thank
else? I was actually going to say the same thing. I'd be very curious to see what kind of additional things are out there. But I do recall at the last meeting that you said you were going to come back with more complete numbers because they were kind of all over the place. And
They were,
the
and I
balances-
acknowledged
I
them.
saw 60,000. Now I see a different balance. So I'm glad we were able to finally get Christian to nail it down and sharpen your pencil and get them because now at least we know what we have. But we do need a way, if we're going to keep this program, which I think everybody kind of agrees
We
we
all
want to
want
keep
to.
the program,
Right.
how we're going to continue to fund it. So I look forward to these possible additional partners that could help us with improve our canopy throughout the town. So,
Very well.
thank you very much.
Could I ask one more question, if you don't mind? Because we're eventually going to get the impact fee stuff in front of us,
Yes, you are.
right? So, we already have a parks fee, but is there, I can't remember, and I read that report, there's not a, can we add a tree fee in there or some other fee, or this is only becomes mitigation with the landscape plan if there's removal and the like? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chedester. So we will connect and offer strategies to recommend to the commission a la the fiscal year 2026-2027 proposed budget process on a balanced basis.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to the next item on the agenda, 7C. Now, did we already, we need to go ahead and make a vote on this, right?
We're not voting on that last one.
7C.
7C?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's just the.
Can we
impact
just
of-
vote on this, Ms.
Oh,
Burns?
well, do you want me to read
I
the
mean-
resolution into the record first?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
just vote. We don't need to.
Resolution
Do
number
we
We've
need to
already
do
seen the
this?
presentation, so let's.
10226,
So can
a
I-
resolution. Oh,
Okay, go ahead
I'm
and
sorry.
read that.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Delray Beach, Florida, approving an impact event known as Run with the Chief to be held June 27, 2026, authorizing the closure of Atlantic Avenue as more specifically described herein, authorizing the city manager to take any and all actions necessary to effectuate the intent of this resolution, providing for an effective date and further purposes.
Can I just,
Yes.
you said 26, this says 27, so I think we have a typo.
I think it's 26.
It's the 27th, Saturday the 27th.
It's a typo.
Well,
It is
there's
a typo.
in the reso.
Wait, where do you see the typo?
Right.
Oh, it says
there.
2027.
27. so
Got it,
that's
yeah.
not-
Yes, my apologies. So you can vote as amended, and then we'll fix it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Can I get a
So
motion?
moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passed.
There you go.
All right, we are on to 7D. Ooh,
7D. Oh, there is no resolution.
No resolution. Mr. Orris, this is the expenditure plan for opioid settlement funds for the coming program year, i.e. fiscal year 2026-2027. And we made a commitment to do so a couple meetings ago to be as thorough as we possibly can and offer clarity in terms of what opportunities are in fact available. So there's a three-pronged presentation being made available by Assistant City Manager Jeff Orris that will enable the commission to thoroughly and adequately offer his thoughts and guidance to get to the best place possible. Mr. Orris, if you would, please.
All right.
Mr. Orris.
Jeff Orris, Assistant City Manager. Let's see if we can get through the presentation. There you go. Just a little quick history. The city experienced some effects from the opioid crisis a number of years ago. And as a result of that, and other communities having gone through that, a number of settlement agreements were established with the companies that distribute, manufacture, and such the opioids. Through a global settlement that through the state of Florida, we get an allocation each year out of those settlements. And those dollars are given to us through that settlement that provides for different ways that we can expend those funding. Again, through the opioid litigation fund, we receive an annual allocation. Last year, we submitted an expenditure plan of $100,000. That left us with still money left over at that time, plus the allocations we received this year, and that which we expect to receive in the upcoming year. We are required by July 1st of each year to submit through a web portal to DCF how we intend to spend that money. No later than August 31st, we do have to report all the expenditures from that fund during the year through that same portal. The use of those funds, just a quick overview. The funds may be used directly by the city or by outside organizations with a positive history of undertaking the types of projects, programs, or training for which we intend to utilize those funds. We can use it for some administrative costs, treatment, support for people in treatment and recovery, prevention, and please let me know if you want me to slow down. I don't feel the need to read through each of these slides. You have a good idea of where we're going. All the things that can be included in there, as well as prevention activities. Currently, we have $395,524.93 available to us to allocate. Again, that includes monies left over, monies from the current year, and anticipated funds during the upcoming year. Before June 1st of each year, we've set up an advisory committee that'll submit to the commission a recommendation on how to spend the funds. We talked about that 2 meetings ago. And then no later than the second meeting in June, the city commission shall adopt the annual intent of use for those funds to be submitted to the DCF by that July 1st deadline. What I have for you is a recommended set of framework options on how to spend the available dollars. The options are based on 4 different types of expenditures. Now, these expenditures I put together for you, and again, the commission can use these dollars or allocate dollars to any category it wants, as long as it's an allowable category under the settlement. The Opioid Settlement Advisory Committee had looked at a number of items, as well as took a report and some input from the Delray Beach Drug Task Force. Basically, those folks came forward and told us these 4 things are things that are of importance to our community. I use that information to base this framework on. The options presented give you an idea of how you can fund these things. You can look at one of those and go along with it, or you can change the funding numbers there, or exactly what we're doing. What we did is we kept it fairly simple, and excuse me, it seems like my phone is talking to me. That's not good. So there's 4 different items. There's the mobile integrated health unit, which would be coverage of up to 50% of anticipated startup costs for this unit in the fire department. The fire chief and his staff had whittled the startup number down to about $251,000. This is not the number that was discussed previously. This is significantly less. This unit will follow up with people transported to the hospital, whether it's for drugs or not, an opioid addiction or not, as well as have programs to visit people's homes to help them with other issues like fall prevention and the such. Again, we're at 50% of the cost simply because this fund cannot pay for those extra items like going and doing fall prevention and any of those preventative treatments. It is solely for the follow-up care prevention related to opioid use. The second item is workforce and job assistance grants. One of the things the community had told us is that there is an issue. Basically, they had said, hey, there's funding for treatment, and we appreciate that funding, but right now, that's not our greatest need. Our greatest need is support for the people in treatment or the people in recovery. Our recidivism rate is their concern, and they felt if some of these additional programs were in place, it would reduce that recidivism rate. Workforce and job assistance grants, the next 3 programs are all grant programs. We would put an RFP out on the street and try to find nonprofits that do these type of things and help fund them to enhance existing programs, which is preferable, or they can be startup programs if the commission so desires. The idea with workforce and job assistance grants is that some of the folks in recovery have a hard time finding work. So these grants could be to go out and work with potential employers and tell them how should not be an issue for them to hire somebody who's gone through treatment or is going through treatment, as well as to provide for those things that a person in this situation might need. They might have just gone through treatment, haven't worked for a while, don't have the resources for transportation to a job. So maybe these organizations help them purchase a car, get a bus pass, somehow get their way to work. More and more people are using scooters and the such. That may be a program that may be worthwhile to fund. We don't know until we see it, but those are the types of things we're talking about with the workforce and job assistance grants. It's how to help folks find work and keep work. It may be anything from job mentorship or networks, just so people have that support on how to deal with work and the stress of work when they're going through treatment or recovery. Affordable and or supportive housing. One of the other problems when you're going through treatment or coming out of treatment is, where do you live? Same problem you have with transportation. Maybe you haven't worked for a while. Maybe you don't have a job yet. Where do you live? That's a number one thing. Hard not to go back into your old ways when you don't have something to do, a job, or have a place to live. Excuse me. And then we have mixed grants. The city can put forward a program that just says any of these organizations that have a program that meets one of those two needs can put forward an application. And we look at which one gives us the biggest bang for the buck. And it's a kind of a mixed bag there. You don't provide any particular dollar amount for either one of them. You just say, we have this pot of money available for grants to do anything in this category. And again, that's looking for the biggest bang for the buck. We may not get housing out of it. We may not get job assistance out of it. We may get it all in one category. But again, what is best for our community? And that would come down the pike as we received applications and saw what they were looking for and what the dollars were, and moving on. Those are the 4 programs that I've given you a framework for. Again, you can focus on something else if you want. Important to note from these 4 things, there's some things missing. One is treatment. We're missing treatment because the feedback from the community was treatment's not the issue right now. Support for those in treatment and those who have come through treatment is the real issue. We don't want them to have to go back and need more treatment. We want them to continue in their recovery, and the way to do that is to fund housing, work opportunities, and the such. Also prevention. Why? As we've discussed before, the city currently has $947,566 in Caron funds that we can use for that prevention education component. So the community has stayed away from it. You heard some of the folks come here and talk to you about what they thought was important. You didn't hear prevention for opioid dollars because we know we have these other dollars available to us. Just a reminder, the Opioid Settlement Committee has a list of professionals that we've put on there, folks who are medical professionals. The committee did meet 9 times between August 25 and April 26 to investigate and formulate their recommendation to you. And of course, their recommendation, as you heard last time, was use 100% of the available funds in a mobile integrated health program. We don't need that much. As you see, we've refined the number. So here's what I've put together for you. Option number 1 is fund that mobile integrated health unit to 50% of the startup cost we anticipate, $125,500. And then split the remaining dollars between those 2 other key areas, workforce and job assistance grants and affordable and supportive housing grants. Now, mind you, that is not a lot of money when you really get down to it, particularly as it relates to housing. So what we move into is option 2, which is we don't do mobile integrated health. We keep it at $150,000 on workforce and job assistance, put the rest towards affordable and supportive housing grants. That may be building homes, that may be providing rental assistance, it may be any number of things that these organizations can come forward saying, here's how we'll provide housing for folks in treatment and or recovery. Option 3 is, as I was just mentioned now, a mix of activities. We put all the money out there and say, submit a grant application for those areas and tell us what we're going to get for our money. I am a firm believer when we do grants, we're buying something. The question is, what are we buying? In our case, we're buying these services for our community. So, give me the detailed list of what we're buying. What are we getting? How much skin do you have in the game? These are all the sort of things that I would expect to bring to the opioid committee and back to you as recommendations for what to put in an RFP for those grants. First of all, I want to see an organization has skin in the game. I want to see what match they'll give to the dollars we're giving. I want to know what other programs like this or this that they've done and their success rate to the best that they can show us, as well as come up with metrics that they can respond to so we know if they've been successful or not. So it doesn't really matter the form of grants. You can allocate individual dollars towards one or another, or you can do the big pool. What would be next is simply grant programs. Staff would write up the plan for submittal to the DCF. The OSAC can, or staff, depending on how you want it, but so far you've talked about the committee drawing up something. Drawing up recommended inputs to be included and desired outcomes for inclusion in an RFP, a grant RFP that would go out to the community. The RFP, of course, would be advertised so everybody has an opportunity to respond to it. Staff reviews the initial application for compliance with the RFP. And then we would bring it to the Opioid Advisory Committee, if this is what you want us to do, for recommendation and ranking of applications. And then, of course, it comes to you for final determination. I did want to go back, but I guess I'm not going to do that now. Just important to note that those three frameworks, you can move the dollars around as you see fit. I just merely put those in there to give you an idea of what it could look like. Or you could look at something else. Those dollars, to sum up the way the settlement allows us to use the dollars, is it can basically be used for anything in the treatment, prevention world that assist people with opioid use disorder. So some of those folks could even be folks who went through it and have ongoing addiction issues with some other substance. This is the way it's all written. So it's open to a lot of things. We heard the input from our recovery community, and that's why I put these items before you. If you don't like them, let me know. We'll come up with something else, or we can talk about other things. It's up to you. Decide how you want to use the funds.
Thank you very much, Mr. Orris. To the commission, Commissioner Malika, do you wish to be recognized?
Sure. Can you go back to the dollar amount where it showed the dollar amounts, please? Not what it costs, but we have. Was that on that slide?
Let me go ahead. This thing is never not confusing. That's what we currently have, $395,524.93.
Okay, thank you. And we have to have a plan for all of that amount. You can't bank anything for future funding of a program.
We have, but I don't believe we're supposed to. We're really supposed to account for it and spend it as quickly as we can.
I would be in favor of option one. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Casal? Oh, excuse me, Commissioner Burns, are you ready?
Well, sure. I think I'm still losing power here, but it's okay. But I want to say that, my first inclination would have been option 3. However, I've talked to many people from the board. We formed this advisory board to get just what we've gotten, which is advice from people who know what they're talking about. Also, I've talked to people from the recovery community as well, and I want to support their decision, and I support the option 1 as well.
Could I add something?
You wish to be re-recognized.
Re-recognized. I mean, also outstanding is the other $125,000 to pay for that program, because this money can only pay for half of that program. So we have to realize that is outstanding. And I know that there might be some kind of solutions available. I know that Mr. Martin was going to show us some return on investment, because we don't have return or repeat ambulance rides in a month. But also, I think that our Delray Beach Medical Center doesn't have return hospital visits. And Commissioner Casal, I wanted you to listen to this, because it could be a potential. I think you serve on the board, right? Delray Medical Center. It could be a potential that they would want to become a partner in this. I don't know who would initiate that conversation, but it could be money savings for them too, because we still have to come up with $125,000 out of our budget, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Just putting that out there.
If I could give you just a little bit of background, one of the reasons why the Mobile Integrated Health Unit can very much be looked at as a potential investment, not just an expenditure. Great. Some of the numbers that are thrown around a bit, I know in talking with the fire department, having them at the OSAC meetings, I think I can comfortably say we've had at least 5 members of our community that we've transported who are opioid addicted, who have been transported to the hospital more than 50 times each last year. Look at the savings to the city if we can get just one of those people to stop using. One of them has been transported more than 100 times. These are the things we don't see every day, and that's where we see this as an investment moving forward. Again, do we know for sure that there would be a return on it? We don't know. We can collect data if you choose to fund it, but that's the one that's separate from the rest because it's not a grant. It actually is something we would do. I think that's one of the reasons why the community has come out and support, and they've suggested in those SAC meeting, they understand that if we can help people. It also has the flip side. Let's forget the opioid side of it. Going out and working with our community, particularly our senior community, and do fall education and do an assessment of their home of, hey, you have some potential fall obstacles here. Or one of the things, to meld the two of those, one of the largest growing sections of communities that need help are seniors that are having problem with opioids because they're being prescribed all these drugs and there's nobody there to help them understand, they're not taking on a regular basis or they're taking too much or to talk to their doctors. So part of it would also be educating and working with those folks. It's also going out there and making sure they don't get the run for transportation for whatever our community needs. And I know it came up last time we talked about it. This would be a program designed to follow up with our residents, not residents of another city. We transport them if something happens to them in our city, but we would not be following up with the residents of another city. We would be following up with our residents or going out and working with our residents. That's all I'll say on behalf of that program. Again, the decision where to go with this is totally yours.
Thank you. Mr. Marker?
Yeah, sure. I spent a couple of hours with Jeff going through this, and I think it's really important that we listen to what the residents want. I think that's really important. We also spent a lot of time talking about the complexity of quantifying prevention. That's always a tough one, but I think we all know it's there. So I'm in favor of option 1.
Okay. Commissioner Casal.
Thank you. And just to bear in mind, we're still going to be working separately with the Caron Foundation money on prevention,
Yes,
because
ma'am.
that's the thing that I'm most concerned about in terms of where I think we can be most impactful for children's future. I was more looking at option 2 and 3. Because I do think at my last governing board meeting, I was asking, and the hospital does have services, because when you say we'll follow up, well, what does that exactly mean? What are we doing? Say somebody finds themselves in an ambulance having overdosed. They go to Delray Medical. What do we do? What is this integrated health unit's responsibility when that person gets out the door of Delray Medical?
And I think Chief Martin's in the room, and he's probably best to answer that question on what
Thank
those
you.
services would be.
Thank you, Chief.
Chief Martin?
Good evening, Commissioners, City Manager, Madam City Attorney. Thank you for inviting me out to speak. So this program at its core is meant to address on a local level a hole that we know exists in our healthcare system that was identified over 40 years, okay, and patients that slipped through. So to your question specifically, Commissioner Casal, sitting on the board of Delray Medical, we're in a nursing and skilled healthcare professional crisis nationwide. So all our health systems across the country need to make difficult decisions. This program is designed, we transport them to the hospital, we build upon that already phenomenal relationship with Delray Beach Medical Center. And when that patient is discharged, if they're medically stable and they don't have some place to refer them to for follow-up, this is where that unit will insert themselves from the point of discharge and follow up to make sure they're following up and getting into contact with the professionals they need, the appropriate resources, patient education, and assuring that they're in touch with the correct social service networks to make them successful. But it starts with understanding their discharge requirements, understanding what that emergency department physician is prescribing for them as their follow-up care, and this is a whole nationwide. So that's how this unit is going to insert and make a difference.
Right. I'm struggling to understand how one or two people in our fire department are going to be able to do this effectively, and what it's actually going to take. And I'm not opposed to this, but I feel like there's nonprofits out there doing it that I would just say we should fund them. People have already established this, they're already doing this. So if this is the route we want to go, no. But I think that the hospital is doing something. I'm sure of it. I can't say exactly what. Do you know what the hospital is doing?
The hospital does its absolute best. Unfortunately, as we all know, and
No, but what
certainly-
specifically are they doing?
Specifically, they have social work when they're available. They're not 24/7. Okay, they do have some resources to try to follow up, but we know with the uninsured
So we're
and
going to have
underinsured-
24/7 employees on this?
We have 24. I'm not saying that. I'm saying specifically for those social service follow-ups, those resources are limited. I am not saying they don't have 24/7 staffing, but what I am saying
Are there
is,
agencies doing this that we could fund versus trying to start the wheel over again?
I'm sure there are, and I
Right.
agree. A two personnel unit, this system, if we do fund it, we will be back here a year
Looking
from now,
for
2 years from now,
additional
looking at
employees and-
expanding this service because we're seeing a positive return in our community.
Right.
And I granted, I understand this current time, the difficulties that you all have, as well as Mr. Moore as a former chief executive of the taxing authority with all of the unknowns. I appreciate your concern.
Right.
But I can tell you, compassion and caring, this is the right thing to do for the community. And yeah, I understand your concerns.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. It's the right thing to do. I'm just wondering if it's more financially efficient for us to find somebody doing it and fund them. Because you're starting from scratch. You, with 2 employees that you know won't be effective enough long-term. We're taking on 2 employees. In the next budget year, when we don't know how much money we're going to have, you're going to be looking for another 3, 4, or 5. We all saw what that chart was, starting most minimum and going to actually running this, it's over $1 million. So if there's organizations out there, and this is the kind of stuff when we have these meetings that I would like coming to the table, I'd like to know if there's an organization doing that locally, then we should help them. And I'm all for incorporating some money into workforce and job assistance and affordable and supportive housing. I'd like to do it all, but I think we should try and see if there's a nonprofit doing it.
Well, we have 3 up here that have chosen option 1. There will be 4 after I finish. I'm going to take it to heart 2 things that was said, where then Dr. Spencer brought this up. We do have a lot of Caron Foundation money, which really is involved with doing this, which we really need to start seriously focusing on how we're going to. We built up this wonderful little fund, but frankly, I'm not really seeing where any of that money's going. We give little bits here and there, but we don't really have a really concentrated program to address what Commissioner Casal said. And what we're all worried about here is how do we stop that person from make that 101st trip?
If I may, Mayor, real quickly.
Yeah.
You all had expressed you want the opioid advisory committee to look at those funds and look at a great way to get those dollars on the street. I've advised them that we're going to talk about that at their next meeting.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing seeing the minutes of that meeting. And the second thing I'm going to raise, Stephen English, I don't know if he's still here.
He's still here.
He said something very interesting. He said, prevention, we're preventing people from dying, at the last minute there. So that's also prevention. So I'm going to go with option 1. And do we need a motion to?
I would recommend a motion, only because it's going to go to the state, so. just so
Okay,
it's
well,
clear.
then I need a motion for.
Okay, I'm making a motion to approve option number 1 for the opioid settlement money.
Great.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Is that are you silent, or are you opposing, or?
I worry long-term, this is going to be extremely
I know, I
costly
understand
and
the
not
point. So you-
effective.
so-
I'm going along with you.
Okay,
I'm
great.
going along with the majority.
Perfect, thank you. So, thank you,
very
Mr. Orris, for the presentation. But we do need to follow up on the next meeting, with what we're going to do with that Karen Foundation, because the other portions that were mentioned are equally important.
So I would expect to go to the committee with the framework that I showed you for doing grants. I'm going to ask them, and what I've charged them with is to come back to the next meeting with the particulars of, what we're looking for in the grant. Who should we be, what sort of statistics, data metrics, and the such that we should be asking for, and, matches and the such, so they can formulate those recommendations to you, and hopefully I'll have those in time to bring.
Mayor, may I ask
when you
one
meet in
question?
July.
I'm sorry, yes?
How much money were we supposed to have already utilized at this point that we have not utilized? Don't
There's
open
some-
you don't have to. Do me a favor, shoot me an email, because I do
Sure.
I worry if we don't
Sure.
get this money allocated and spent, that's problematic for us. Or do we just have to report it?
Yeah, if you could send us all the email. We'd all like to know how much money we
Sure,
got in these various
reported,
funds.
And I did receive response from the state finally on what if we choose to change our mind or don't
Correct,
spend the money.
right.
And they've said, amend your plan and upload it.
Understood, because
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
the beginning
but
we're
they want
working
us to
on.
spend the money, so let's help
Okay,
them.
But
thank you
Mayor-
very much. I
Mayor-
appreciate the presentation.
Just so it's clear, though, the state doesn't take away the money. Obviously, they want us to use it.
Oh, no, right, no, I
but,
understand.
yeah, I
No,
just
I'm not
want-
worried about cheating to the state. I'm
Right,
just
right.
trying to follow the guidelines. Anyway, 7E, nomination for appointment to the Downtown Development Authority Board based on the rotation system. We have nomination for 2 tax-qualified members and 2 at-large members to serve for terms beginning, for terms ending July 1st, 2029. That will be made by Mayor Carney, Deputy Vice Mayor Markert, Commissioner Malika, and Commissioner Casal. I have the first appointment. I will reappoint Brian Rosen to the DDA board. I nominate Brian Rosen to the DDA board. Should we?
You don't need a second. Nope, you don't
You
need a second.
just
Just
need-
motion to-
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next is Commissioner Marker, Deputy Vice Mayor Marker.
Yes, I would like to nominate Jason Lacow.
Good course.
Excellent.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Perfect. Now, the next one is, I'm out of order here. Commissioner Malika.
I would nominate Robert Cantwell.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. The last one is Commissioner Casal.
Cole debit.
Cole debit. And all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? They're all appointed. Congratulations. Well, for all.
That was hard. I love them all.
Huh?
They're all good.
I just want to say again, because I mentioned it once before, I did go to Tropical on Sunday as well and it was great. That's Jason's place, yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I need to try
It's
those hamburgers.
Absolutely a fabulous place. I go between him and Caesars. I
start going
divide
there a
my
lot.
time between the two of them, which is not good for my diet. But anyway, 8A. This is a first reading for a public hearing. Ordinance
Mayor,
number 11.
Mayor, I'm sorry, 7F.
Oh, 7F, I'm sorry. Approval of, oh yes, gosh, I see they have the
Don't wanna
audience here.
skip that one.
Approval of amendment number 2 to the agreement for RFQ 2024-031 with Core Construction for construction manager at risk services for Pompey Park Recreation Center project, establishing a guaranteed minimum price of $59,193,363.
That's guaranteed maximum price, not minimum.
Guaranteed maximum price, yeah.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners, and Terrence and City Attorney Gillen. I never say good evening to you, so I'm apologizing for that.
Look at that special.
That's very cool, yeah.
I feel like some of the other directors just have better manners. So tonight we're bringing you the guaranteed maximum price agreement with Core Construction. Before we get into the actual numbers, I do want to address the community concerns about the existing concession stand so that the commission knows what the plan is for moving forward with that. The community has repeatedly expressed concerns about how we're going to handle that issue moving forward. As you know from the last presentation, CORE has agreed to demolish the existing concession stand at no cost. It is, staff has taken a look at the building, and we have determined that it is in very bad shape, and it really is not a salvageable building. So we do want to replace the building. Once the old concession stand will not be demolished until the new community center has been constructed and the old community center is being demolished. So it's not something that's going to happen imminently right at the very beginning of the project, right? So when the equipment is on site to do the demolition for the existing community center, they will also demolish the old concession stand. They will grass over the area to make it attractive, and because I know that concession stand building provides services, we will put out a restroom trailer on the site so that the restrooms will still be there and available. And if the community desires, we can also put out a trailer that they can operate concessions out of. So that is part of what we've looked at. In the meantime, while the community center is being constructed, we will continue to work with the community to design the new building. The Corps has agreed that they will not charge their management fees for overseeing the construction of that new building, but it will be an additional cost for the city. So we have a couple of different concession stand with press box designs that the city has already done. One of them we talked about earlier tonight at Little Fenway. We have that was just built in 2017. We have those design plans. If that is something that the community approves of and likes, we can repurpose those plans to speed the process. That's just an idea, though. We're not going to do anything or make any kind of decision without working with the community that uses the facility to make sure that we're doing what it is that they would like to see. Are there any questions about that?
I don't have any questions. I just want to say thank you.
Continue with your presentation.
Thank
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, guaranteed maximum price. This is part, as we talked about on the 26th, the construction manager at risk contracting method happens in two phases. The first phase of that is to brainstorm together, look at all potential conflicts, look at ways to save money on the project, and arrive at a guaranteed maximum price. When we started this process, the initial offering was $65.8 million to build this facility. Following value engineering and bid leveling and GMP alternates, we lowered that price to $63.3. There was additional back and forth with Core Construction to lower some of the amounts that they were charging for a variety of contingencies, escalation contingency, and fees and general conditions, which brought the price down to $59.39 million, which Commission on May 26th, sitting as both the Commission and the CRA Board, arrived at consensus to accept that number. Following that meeting, as we finalized the numbers and got the agreement ready to bring to Commission to be signed, we were able to eliminate an existing invoice for pre-construction services. And so Core withdrew that invoice, and that brought the total price down to $59.19 million. So here's a breakdown of how we get to that number. The cost of the work, that is the hard costs associated with all of the renovation and construction. General conditions, including management services, is the cost of the work is $44 million. General conditions $10 million. The construction manager's fee, which we settled at 4.5%, is $2.435 million. The construction manager's contingency, that is the pot of money that is set aside for unforeseen circumstances to be able to pay for that. The document completion and owner's contingency is the same kind of a pot of money, only the city retains that. And then the escalation contingency is the protection against rising costs throughout the project, such as we had the roller coaster of fuel costs in the last several months, so that would help to offset that. The pre-construction phase services amounted to $202,871. That amount has already been paid, but that is still included within the guaranteed maximum price. And that is the sum total of tonight's presentation.
Well, thank you very much for the presentation.
I forgot to introduce Sam.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Mitot, did you want to be? Everyone's getting introduced tonight. You can all stand up later and introduce yourselves. This is Sam Mitot, Director of Parks and Recreation.
I tried to be polite and I failed.
I'm going to raise something here because I don't know whether the rest, I got this letter today, okay? And I usually don't pay attention to last minute kind of letters, generally speaking. But this is telling me I'm going to save $4 million. I can't ignore $4 million. I'm going to ignore $4 million. So I'm sorry, what?
I said 4.2.
Well, okay, I rounded it up, 4.220449. So I'm just curious what position, $4 million is $4 million. $4.2 million is $4.2 million. And, when we talked about this last week, or a couple weeks back, and I was worried it was going to take a long time and everything, I want to get started, et cetera, but they're guaranteeing something within 90 days. $4 million for 90 days seems to be...
So without having had an opportunity to speak with them, to go through exactly how they intend to save $4 million in the process, I really can't speak to that. I can speak to the promise that it will be done in 90 days, and I find that probably unattainable, because on top of all the other work that we have to do, we will first have to negotiate a contract with the new company, right? And that can take a long time, and then it has to come back to commission and be approved. That's generally an additional month right there. So that would be, even if we met with them tomorrow and they said everything that we wanted to hear, there would be at least probably the last meeting in July before we could get a contract to you for them to begin doing the what we've spent the last year working on for the guaranteed maximum price. So there's that. And then they have 30 days where they have to do the bid process. They have to submit the project to subcontractors to bid on the project. And then the bids come back in. It takes them about 30 days to do what is called bid leveling. And then maybe another month for us to, or more, for us to work out what those final numbers would be and to agree on those final numbers. So that process, I can foresee that if we all make our time available all day, every day, that we would be able to get that piece of it done perhaps in 90 days. But I find it very highly unlikely that we would get everything ready to go in 90 days.
Thank you.
Can I make a
All right,
point?
let me, you wish to be recognized?
Well,
Yes?
yes, thank you. My point is that you're speaking about the 4.2 million in the letter, but I don't think the general public knows what you're talking about, if you
No,
could
they don't.
describe it for them.
Well, without reading it, I mean, you want me to read the art, you want me to read?
Whatever, however you think you should inform the public about.
Well,
the
I'm just saying,
4.2
there
million.
is this company, which I guess was the second, it came in second, came back and they talked about that, they looked at what the current person would the current bid is, and they've analyzed the pricing, and they say that they can reduce that price by about $4.2 million. So, and they can do something within 90 days. Now, whether, I understand all those other kinds of things, but if you're saying if it's 5 months, then I'm saying, well, is it worth $650,000 a month savings? And I would say, well, that's, kind of a lot of money, because we started off at 42.
So
And I'm not saying the cost didn't go up, which they all did, we all know that.
That they haven't seen the itemized breakdown for the $44 million worth of hard costs. So and having not spoken to them, I do not know how they arrived at their number.
Mayor.
Yes, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Could we ask Mr. Schiller to step up? No, don't?
No.
No, he
Okay,
really
I'm
can't.
sorry.
He can't do that.
But I think taxpayers should understand, and I know what you're saying, at 90 days, look, at this point, we've been doing this so long, and we want to get it done. But here's the thing. The indication to me was that a lot of the delay was because there was being a fee charged, and I appreciate CORE, I'm not trying to be disparaging, but talking about the process, they were charging a fee to negotiate, which, how much did that fee amount to at the end of the day, Mr. Moore, for them to negotiate to get these costs to us? 350,000 or 500?
They dropped it.
No,
It
How
was
much was it?
eliminated, and that's what we talked about in
you
the
took that out?
presentation.
Well,
It's a
thank
net-
you. I do appreciate that, because
It's
that
a net,
was
to answer the
unusual.
question, it's a net adjustment of about $200,000.
Thank you. I appreciate that adjustment. But that was super unusual, and that was part of the process. Took so long because there were so many fees incorporated that were, I don't want to use the word unique, but probably not consistent with what you expected. And so you're going back and negotiating.
We expected all of the fees that were incorporated, but some of the fees that were being charged are at a higher rate than
Percentage.
Yes, a
Correct.
higher rate than what we had anticipated. when
Right.
We had tried to
I
negotiate
can't hear her. I'm
those.
sorry. Can we ask the people to stop talking?
I'm
Because
sorry,
it's hard to
could-
hear.
Could we have silence out there, please, while we
Thank
deliberate
you.
up here?
I'm sorry. I couldn't
sorry?
hear her. I'm sorry. So, right.
So we had tried to negotiate those numbers down, and we were somewhat successful.
Here's the thing. If this saves the taxpayers $4.2 million, $4,220,449, then I think we should do this. And if it takes 90 more days, then it takes 90 more days. You're saving over $4,000 for the exact same project.
Saving over $4 million.
I'm sorry.
She finished?
Are you finished?
Yes.
Okay.
Commissioner Burns.
Thank
Vice
you.
Mayor Burns.
So for me, I think that changing now would undermine the community's trust in the process that we have. People don't trust government as it is. And when we get up here and change our minds at the last minute, this CORE was the first choice. And CORE, we have come to this maximum guaranteed price. The CRA, and I've talked to the city, we have the money to do this. We need to keep our community's trust and do what we said we were going to do. I think we should approve the project, move forward with this. We've been waiting decades in this community to get this done, and it's time to get it done. We have all of this work that we've done over the last months, almost a year now, to come to this point, and now at the last minute, I respect this letter. I appreciate this. I appreciate any contractor who wants to advocate for themselves and what they think is in the best interest of the taxpayers. However, it's not always about money. It is not always about money. We know that we do want to save the taxpayers money. However, this project is more about the community and what the community has wanted. One of the things that the community made clear is that they wanted a contractor or a company that would work with the community. This company is working with two of our local firms, and that is what the community wants. So I am supporting that we stay where we are and move forward with this with Core Construction.
Great. Okay, thank you. Now, do you wish to be recognized?
I do wish to be recognized.
Okay.
When you're talking about $4 million, that's a lot of money, but that's just like the fees. They haven't even looked at the contract to find out what the hard costs will be. Some of these subcontractors were locked in, with the company that we're in contract with before tariffs raised the cost and before oil raised the cost. So when the new company with that promise of the lower fees of $4 million get in and start doing the hard cost, it could be way over the $44 million. We don't know. And I'm not willing to pull the plug on progress, just like to gamble, right? To gamble on a promise. And also, speaking of a promise that we made to the community to move this forward. So I would be in favor of moving forward with the contract that we're already under, because I don't think that $4 million promise and saving fees is real. I don't think it's real because they haven't looked at the hard costs.
Commissioner Market?
Yeah, I just have a quick question, Missy. How long would the process take if we were going to go that way? And I'm not an expert in this. You and Sam are a lot closer to this than me. I'm just curious how long it would take.
In a perfect world, I would say that we might be able to get it done in 5 months. In a perfect world, the world is not perfect.
Yeah, half a year. Okay. That was my question.
But Mayor, they do list out very specifically where they will provide the cost savings. It's not like willy-nilly, as you say. It wasn't willy-nilly. They didn't just lay out a number. They're giving you very clear areas where they are telling us they will absolutely save us. They said they've gone through and reviewed the guaranteed maximum price. So they've done their due diligence in reviewing it. They're putting this in a letter to us. They're guaranteeing this price.
That's guaranteeing fee reduction, right?
Please make a motion.
Okay, I would like to make a motion that we approve Amendment 2 to the agreement of the RFQ with Core Construction Company for the maximum guaranteed price listed here of $59,193,363.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Can we have a vote?
You want a roll call vote?
Yeah.
We'd like a roll call vote.
I would take a roll call.
Deputy Vice Mayor Markert?
Yes.
Commissioner Malika?
Yes.
Commissioner Casal?
No, I'm sorry.
Vice Mayor Burns?
Yes.
Mayor Carney?
Yes. So now we go to number 8, public hearings. So would you like to read this 12-page ordinance for us? This is a first reading, everyone, so we're not really going to be discussing it tonight unless there's a...
Make them stay and listen.
I want everyone to stay and listen. Anthea's got a presentation she wants to make. Oh, yes, you do. We're going to call you up there. Go ahead.
Ready?
Oh, don't listen to him. He's just your boss.
Ordinance number 11-26, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Delray Beach, Florida, amending the land development regulations of the City of Delray Beach Code of Ordinances, Chapter 4, zoning regulations, Article 4.4, base zoning district, Section 449, general commercial GC district, to change pet grooming from a conditional use to a permitted use, amending Section 4411, neighborhood commercial NC district, to change pet grooming from a conditional use to a permitted use, amending Section 4413, Central Business CBD District, subsection C, allowable uses, table 4413A, allowable uses and structures in the CBD subdistricts, to change pet grooming from a conditional use to a permitted use for all subdistricts, amending section 4419, mixed industrial and commercial MIC district, to change pet hotel, domestic animal training, and daytime boarding from a conditional use to a permitted use, and change pet grooming from a conditional use and accessory use. Amending section 4420 industrial I district to change pet hotel, domestic animal training, and daytime boarding from a conditional use to permitted use, and change pet grooming from a conditional use to an accessory use. Amending section 4426 light industrial LI district to change pet hotel, domestic animal training, and daytime boarding from a conditional use to permitted use, and change pet grooming from a conditional use to an accessory use. Amending section 4429 mixed residential office and commercial MROC district to change pet grooming from a conditional use to a permitted use, providing a conflicts clause and a severability clause, authority to codify, providing an effective date, and further purposes. This is first reading, but it is a public hearing.
This is a public hearing. You mean
We
members
just have
of
to
the-
open it up.
members of the pub- This is a public hearing. Any members of the public wishing to speak on this, you can come up now and speak on it. If you do speak on it now, though, you can't speak on it next week?
No, it's two public hearings because it's
Two
a
public
change
hearings,
of
okay.
use.
If there are any members of the public wishing to speak on this proposed resolution, please come to the ordinance, please come to the lectern. You will each have 3 minutes. Name and address for the record. Seeing none, my kind of public hearing. So I need a motion to approve.
Sure, motion to approve ordinance number 11-26.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It is done. It says first reading's done. It's actually, this was the first reading, so this week's second reading's done.
No, because it's a change in use. We're changing the use tables, so we have to do two public hearings.
I think he's.
Oh, I got you. Okay, all right.
Oh, I see, I see.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think it's because it's a public hearing.
Right.
all right. Comments and inquiries on non-agenda items to the city manager,
I yield at this time. Thank you.
to the city attorney.
So, Mayor, you were asking about this the other day. I just received a draft copy of the complaint that we will be filing against the town of Highland Beach, like we discussed. We have had no contact with their counsel, even though we had promises that they would make contact with our outside counsel in an attempt to resolve this. As I told you, the law requires us to go to mediation. So if this, and I'll send you this draft so everyone can review it. But if we have no changes, I anticipate this will be filed before the end of the week. And then at that point, we will reach out again. And because Florida statute now requires that mediation to occur before we can move forward.
And what was the claim? And do you have the amount that we're asking for pursuant to the complaint?
I don't think that we put, I literally just got it. We typically don't put the actual amount in there.
Okay.
Because you want to be able to leave it open a little bit. But the claim would be basically a breach of contract.
So we're moving that off the table. That's good.
Yes. So I'll send you a draft of this tomorrow, once I review it. And like I said, breach of contract and breach of the covenant of good faith and fair dealing. And so once we file that, I believe at that point we'll be able to have a shade meeting and have a discussion as to settlement options.
Right, okay.
Thank
Anything
you.
else?
No, sir, thank you.
Okay, commissioner comments. Who would like to go first?
I'll jump in.
Okay.
I'm quick. I wanted to just thank the police. They're not here, though. I had a need to call the officers for someone, not myself. Don't no one do a public records request. And the experience was lovely. They responded quickly. The gentleman was so helpful, and he was the woman that he attended to was greatly appreciative, as were her children who were reaching out to me. So thank you, Delray Police. Very excited about the run with the chief. I also want to thank the fire department. We're constantly getting videos, both from the police department, educational videos, which I really appreciate, and from the fire department. I think that's relatively newer, and our communications director is doing all that. So thank you, Gina Carter. Appreciate you all the time. The exhibit at Old School Square, Persistence of Matter from Forgotten to Unforgettable, very good, and everyone should go check it out. It's lovely. Thank you, Laura Simon. The opening was fabulous, and Mariska, because, you know, I've so much enjoyed the Cornell and all the fabulous exhibits. Lake Worth Beach recently voted in a motorized bike ordinance. It's a micro-mobility e-bike ordinance. I just can't get over the number of kids I see buzzing around our downtown on those e-bikes, in front of cars, in front of pedestrians, even today walking in City Hall. And they're not even, some of these are like, more like dirt bikes. Dirt bikes, street bikes. So, Mr. City Attorney, can I get a consensus to look into this? Because honestly,
communities, more and more of these, because you have these kids doing these little kid gangs running around with these electric
Correct.
bikes. where, I think
It's dangerous.
there's an ordinance where they can't
Well,
ride them on
it's
the
all-
sidewalk, they can't do this. they
They're
can't-
also about registration, they're about helmets. The way that this works is it gives you a number of opportunities to figure out how to control them a little better.
I mean, I'm in favor of that.
Thank you, I appreciate
I know
that.
it can be a nuisance, but also it's a lot of people's mode of transportation.
No,
But
no.
I think we can regulate it.
Exactly,
Look
we're
into
not looking to
regulations. I don't know
stop
what the
people from
u-
utilizing it, we
ordinance
just
says.
don't want the crazy behavior. I mean,
Right,
someone's
right,
going to
right.
get hurt.
Yeah, typically, the people that are using it as their primary mode of transportation are not the issue.
Right.
I see them and coming up and down the side of Federal
I mean-
Highway, and they're going to work and to and from.
I was on
they're not the ones
Atlantic.
they're these groups of these. In fact, the police chief sent us something the other day about
I don't know.
a breakup of.
Oh, that was a different thing. Those kids were going to the beach,
That
not,
was
they
a
weren't on
mob at the
these.
beach.
Yeah,
mob
mob.
at the beach, whatever.
Thank you for that, chief. Where is he? He's left. But do I have then the consensus? I've
We
got
just
Mayor
said, yeah.
Carney. Okay, thank you. Thank you, City Attorney. If you want me to send you a copy of that. And also, last thing, last time at the meeting, I asked that we consider implementing that lobbying ordinance. We've all gotten it and probably had the opportunity to read it. I think we got it Tuesday evening during the meeting. When I asked for it to be sent, the city attorney sent it. Can we get a consensus for that?
I haven't read it yet. I'll be honest with you, I haven't read it yet. So.
Okay, can you all read it and just send her an email if you, or do we need a public
Why don't we have a
consensus?
discussion? I can make a discussion item.
I'm kind of not receiving some of these emails. Well, I think people are sending them to my planning and zoning email.
Isn't that the same address?
No.
No, it's different.
Now it's
Oh,
just
really?
the last
Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll double check.
So we need
Okay.
We should do a discussion item.
Okay.
And then we can, if there's consensus at that point, once it's explained.
Yeah, a lot of communities are moving to this and having these lobby.
Boca did it,
Yeah,
and
I know they-
I think we should do it as well.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Thank
So
you.
Do you want me to just draft it then? Or
No,
you-
I'd like
Yes.
to, I haven't read it.
Discussion.
I haven't even
Okay.
read it.
I'm all for you drafting it. I've read it twice. If you want to just
So
read
let's
it
make a
and
discussion,
shoot her.
You know, right, everyone's discussion item, so we can get it on the
At least
agenda.
I can read it. I'd love it.
Yeah.
Huh? Well, you'd like to read it too,
Yeah,
but
I'd
I would like to
just
read it.
yeah.
I don't know whether you read it or not. I can read it.
It was sent last Tuesday, I think around 8 p.m.
Maybe we can delete that.
Are you
emails.
finished now?
Yes, thank you. That concludes my comments.
That
Thank you.
concludes your remarks. Okay,
Yes.
good. Commissioner Marker, would you like to go next?
Yeah.
Because Commissioner Malika wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, I just had one thing I wanted to bring up, and it had to do with what you mentioned a few minutes ago. We did have kind of a mob scene over the weekend down at A1A in Atlantic, and it's an unfortunate thing. You may have all seen this email that went out. We've had a couple of them down here in the past week. One was aimed at taking over the Wellington Mall, and these are kids that are doing this. And then there was another one that went out about West Palm Beach, and we had one, I believe it was Saturday night, that formed down in Delray, and it's kind of a scary situation from my chair. We had several merchants that called me that had to close their doors because the conditions were unsafe. There were unsubstantiated reports of gunshots. They were unsubstantiated, but that's what was out there. And I've had a lot of residents call me kind of concerned about this. I'm concerned about it. These are kids that seem to be generally under 18 years of age. I don't want to see any, there were some arrests that were made by our police department. I don't want to see kids getting arrested that are, 14, 15, 16, 18 years old. I don't want to see that. So I'm going to talk to Chief Hunter about it. I was going to talk to the FBI about it in my other job to see where these emails are coming from. I'm not so sure they're kids. I'm not so sure. But I'd ask all of you to be diligent about this. This is it's kind of a bad thing, and I worry about younger kids, and I don't want to see kids getting in trouble and all that stuff. But at the same time, I don't want our residents to feel unsafe, and I certainly don't want our merchants closing up their doors early on a Saturday night. That's not healthy. So if you happen to hear of any of this or have any feedback, if you could let me know, I'll be happy to be the conduit to the chief and the bureau on this and see if we can get to the bottom of it. So thank you. That's it.
Good comment. Commissioner Malika.
I don't have anything right now. Thank you.
Commissioner Burns.
Yes, I have a concern. I've received several phone calls during the week, this past week, and I actually visited with a few folks concerning issues and concerns for our cemetery. So I started conducting my own independent fact-finding, spent some hours and time in cemetery this past week, and I'm very, very concerned. I would like, just the conditions, and to assess the conditions of the cemetery in general, particularly the historic part and sections of it, and the maintenance practices. I asked if we had a master plan, and I found out there is no master plan. I think we need to have one. I do have this, the draft of the survey that was done that warranted a historic designation, and I want to find out where we are with that. We have two things going on. We have an active cemetery. People are getting mixed communication. Online, it says that we don't have any available plots, and that is my message to people. But some people are being told that if you are a Delray resident, that there are plots available. I don't know who's telling them that, but I know there are mixed messages, so we need to get one message. I'm also being told, I have one young lady who's very upset. Her mother passed 3 weeks ago, and she is being held out because there's no space in Delray, there's no space in Boynton, and there's no space in Lake Worth. So families are not getting any closure. So we really have a situation on our hand. Now, I was looking through the, in terms of maintenance, I was looking through the report that came out, and it says that it is recommended that minor and major repairs of cracked or broken gravestones, which there are many, be performed by qualified professionals. That is from the document that we had done in 2024, I think it was. It also says that a specialized conservator with documented experience should be the ones that's doing this. We have people out there that are not experienced that are attending these grave sites. It also says that it recommends that these things need to be repaired. There's no repairing going on. So I would like to ask that we have a workshop so that the community is very concerned about this, that we have a workshop where we can discuss this, find out how we're going to move forward with taking care of our cemetery, because it is in bad shape.
As a part of that, can I ask, could we tour that?
Yeah, let's have the
What's
workshop
that?
there.
Could we tour it? I'd like to see it. I mean, you're obviously concerned about it. I'd like. Okay.
Do we have the background?
I'm good to do
background
that.
music going to be Thriller? Just checking.
Yeah.
I know where it
And
is. I just haven't
there is
walked in or-
also an issue about a tree that is supposedly being removed, and there are concerns that if this tree is removed, it's going to upset the gravesite that is around this tree. So there are lots of issues and lots of different things that are going on that really need to be discussed, and the community needs to be assured that the city is concerned about our cemetery.
Mr. Mayor, if I may,
Yes, sir.
please. It was actually my intent to offer a dialogue about this during the next regular meeting, July 14th, via city manager input from the public, because Vice Mayor Burns, I had an opportunity to communicate with you about this last weekend. Of course, up until yesterday, today, I've spoken to a couple individuals, and thus I'd like to offer an opportunity during the next regular meeting, July 14th, so that we can offer a comprehensive summary in terms of why we are where we are, and that will open the door for any additional expectations that might be warranted. So July 14th it is.
During that meeting, are we going to talk about, because I think we need a master plan. I think there's some maintenance guidance needs to be happened, because we have a document that tells us the specialized way that it should be done, and it's not being done that way.
I'm making arrangements for July 14th, ma'am, the next regular meeting.
All right. And then lastly.
Prior to a workshop, of course.
Okay. All right. I think that was it. I've lost my train of thought.
Well, if you remember it,
Okay.
here.
Thank you.
First, I think that the cemetery is we've talked about I have not seen that historic study, but I would like if you could send it to me, I'd like to, because I think if it gets because we have settlers, you know, of all races really that are there, and it really is qualified. And I think if we designate it as historic, we could probably get some money from other places to help preserve it.
Can we find out where that study is? We already got approval to do that.
We're going to have a workshop on it.
Okay.
We talked about that at goal setting, and we were told
Yeah.
Frog Alley comes first.
I know Frog Alley comes first. but it seems to me that this is unlike Frog Alley. This is the cemetery should be an easier lift.
Should be an easier one.
Huh?
It's not, this one is easy in the sense that it's our property, so it's not controversial.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's an easier lift.
Sure.
Also, and Mr. Moore, I don't know if I'm sorry, Mayor,
Remember,
because my own father is buried out there. Well, he was buried out there in 1974. To this day, we don't know where his body is. We don't know the location. And you know, the website says the database. Well, I put his name in the database. It says not found, not known. I put it in every kind of way. So the database is able to identify up until what time, because I put a couple of names in there and they were not able to locate a
Sure.
location.
And generally speaking, I am aware that there are some record-keeping issues that goes back decades, and therefore we need to get to a place of addressing that. So if I may, I'd like to proceed first with the next regular meeting, general overview, to be followed by an upcoming workshop meeting on the topic, so that we can get down to business and offer attention, focus, resources necessary to get to the best place possible. I'll be prepared.
I'm going to conclude these. Someone brought up, and I'm not sure the possibility of it, but you know, whether we could keep the pool open at Pompeii during some of this construction period, and I think that Montre brought it up. Okay, I think that's it is a community pool that's used a lot, and I think if to the extent that we can keep it open until the last possible moment, I think we should, like we kept the golf course open to the last possible moment. And I think that I would like to try to do the same thing to keep that pool open at Pompeii. You brought up the thing about the kids, and I just talked about the cemetery. And the last thing I want to say is I haven't heard the expression "harken back" in a long time. It was good to hear you say it, and
Harken back.
we're adjourned.
It's actually part of my lexicon, sir.
Harking out of here.
I want to show you
Harken
something.
back.
We're harking out of here.